Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with Omar Afaro, his real estate entrepreneur from the high desert down in Southern California. How you doing, buddy?
Good. What's up, Michael? What's up, everybody?
Hey, man. So the first video, we're going to probably do the rest of the year, right? We do 3 together every Tuesday. The first one's going to be about what's going on in the market. Oh, folks, Omar's got a great playlist. Check it out. We've talked about his market probably the last 6, maybe 8 weeks. So you could see it is changing and changing fast. What kind of data do we got today?
Okay, it's exciting. At least I'm excited about it. I've seen a progression. Just to give you guys an example, I'm going to give you guys what total listings we had a month ago.
Okay.
To now. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and yes, there's still some pendings and solds and stuff. So think about this. If this is still increasing, transactions have slowed for sure. We were at 1,213 houses for sale, 613 to 619.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. And now fast forward to 711 to 717, 1,444 houses for sale in the high desert, which is Apple Valley, Victorville, Hesperia, Lucerne, Oak Hills, Pinion Hills, Phelan, Wrightwood, Victorville.
Yeah. So again, let's give scale for folks. If you were going to think back to 2018, 2019, what would have been kind of a normal level, you think?
12, 13.
Okay. So we're on the upper end for sure of that right now.
Oh yeah. We're going to blow past it, I'm sure.
That's exactly where I'm going. This trend is it's now a trend, right? It's not a single data point. We've got multiple weeks, I think 6 or 7 weeks you've been building. Again, you have a playlist they can go watch. But you've been doing this a long time, right? That's why I love talking to you every week, because you have the experience. Do you remember what peak inventory was? I'm going to guess in the high desert, kind of like 09, maybe 2010, 11.
Peak inventory?
Yeah, peak active listings.
In 2009 and 10, it was lower than this because it was, the thing is everybody was buying them so fast.
Yeah, so I'm thinking because every year, again, this is why we talk about the high desert, because you move first, right? You're the canary in the California coal mine, right?
100%. We're the last one to see the appreciation, and we're the first ones to see the drop.
Exactly. It's a weird thing. So maybe you peaked in 07, because I would have guessed where I was going with this. This is just a wild ass guess. I have no data, but I would have guessed as the market was rolling over and listings were piling up, you probably had to get to above 2,000. Just a wild ass guess.
You know, you're probably right in that 08 of uncertainty for sure. Like people were like, okay, what are we doing here? Are we really going to buy? Or are we going to wait? We sat on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Investors stopped buying.
Yes. Because they didn't make sense.
No. It didn't make sense at all. This time around, it might be a little different because everybody has equity.
Yeah.
But back then, it's like nobody had equity. It was negative equity.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were given loans. They were given it. I mean, again, why are you the canary? Because you had again, it's kind of like Fresno in the Central Valley. We're like 1 or 2 steps behind the high desert.
Right.
You had a disproportionate of what was called 2 and 28s, very low teaser loans. You had neg am loans everywhere. You had I bet you the average loan for a 6-month period in the high desert was 103%. Because they just rolled closing costs in everywhere, and everybody was everywhere. It was nutty. So that's what blew up, and that's why this time. So again, your inventory is going up. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know. 2,000 is a long way away. Maybe 1,800. You get to 1,800 in a few months, maybe.
I'm thinking we're going to be getting to 2,000.
Okay.
By November.
Nice. Yeah, so then things get interesting, because again,
exciting.
Yeah, exciting. Again, you should be excited, right? A guy that's got the network and the skills and experience, you should just be bananas excited. But let's talk about the homeowners, because I think we're going to be in a very interesting situation where those 2,000 listings, Omar, I don't know what the percentage is. It'll be somewhere between 10 and 30% are not real listings. What do I mean by that?
Wish pricing still.
Yeah, well, it's wish pricing plus want to sell,
not need to sell.
Exactly.
And
I think there's going to be a lot of want to sell. Like, hey, If we bought our house for 300, we could sell for 450. We'll take the money and run, right? We'll move to the coast or whatever it is. But then they're going to see crickets and they're going to go, well, you know what? We bought it at 300. We thought we get 450. It looks like we get 375. Do you want to sell, honey? And they're going to say, no, we'll stay put. It's too big of a perceived haircut. So
completely. No, literally, that's the phone call before our meeting right now I had with one of my listings. And she's a move-up buyer, selling their property to move into another one. And we dropped it 15,000 and there's still nobody looking.
Yeah.
And they're only going to be making about less than 30 grand on their on the take home. That's with a reduced commission on my side.
Yeah.
Because they're, they've been repeat clients, but it's like, do you guys really need to sell? I mean, doesn't make sense. If
stay put for a little while.
Yeah. And I tried telling her, I literally told her that. I was like, the only way, if you really want to move and you want to move into a different home, then we're going to have to be creative and drop the price and or give some closing cost credit. And it's just, what are you going to do? Sell a house to make 25 grand?
No. And then, because again, she's probably in that house with a low ass mortgage rate. Why is she going to jump in the next one at 6 when she has one at 3? It just doesn't make sense.
No, that and solar, and they have a solar lease.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's rough. And sometimes you have to be that person to say, hey, sorry, not going to happen.
This is a conversation that needs to go something like this. Yeah, I understand what you want to do. It's a great goal. We can get you there, just not today. It's not, it's not never, it's not yet.
Not yet. That should be the automatic response. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's okay. Again, they're still employed. They're still making the payment. It's cheaper than rent. Why rent anywhere else? It's okay. Enjoy the home. You missed the top. It's okay. It happens. Let's move forward.
Yeah.
So
I missed the top too.
Yeah, it happens, right? So we're going to tease this here, but we're going to do a third episode on this. But let's just tell people why you're excited, potentially to have 2,000 listings. Why is Omar, not the agent, Omar, the investor, excited about potentially having 2,000 listings to look at?
Wow. There's going to be a whole lot of motivated sellers that absolutely need to sell. Out of those 2,000 houses or 2,000 listings that we're going to come across, we're going to be able to find great deals. Not even good. Good are going to be everywhere, but we're going to find the great ones that have the huge margins, the huge spreads, that don't want to deal with tenants anymore, that got the house inherited to them. There's so many factors in there, not to mention, because of this upswing of houses on the market means that everything is slowing down in a sense. And there could be some financial difficulties happening to some families. I don't want to throw the D word out there, but there's some families that are going to be going through a divorce, and they need to liquidate or sell the asset to start over. And at that point, you're helping someone start their new chapter. And I don't want to get too much into it, but I'm excited about it because we're going to be on the sidelines ready for great opportunities to come. Yeah,
we'll go into this in detail in episode 3, but I just want to end this one here. The reason Omar should be excited about this is he spent the time doing the work. The thing that's clear is everybody who looks in the high desert is going to see the same thing, 2,000 listings.
Yep.
But Omar's got the experience, the daily discipline, the network built on purpose. He's going to be able to sift through the 2,000, probably cut out 1,000 right away that just don't make sense. Now he's dealing with 1,000. He probably knows half the agents. That gets him to 500. He's going to be able to comb through a list of 2,000 and find the motivated sellers faster than anyone else. And I want to be very clear. If you are not dealing with a motivated seller and getting a great deal for the next 6 months, do something else, right? This is the opportunity to build wealth. Get that price, get the terms, get the sub 2, whatever it is. This is the time to control assets. It's not like the last 2 years. You're not going to get bailed out because the market's going up. It's the time to own assets, finance it right, structure it right, long-term hold, stack your inventory. So when the market eventually comes back, you'll be prepared with lots of inventory you could sell. And then you have long-term capital gains instead of income. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be awesome. 100%. Yeah.
So Omar, where can people find you?
Guys, follow me on IG, the Omar Alfara.
Awesome, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks.